Tim, what's up, brother?
How's it going?
Oh my God, we've just spent a full week towing into waves here on Maui. We learned a ton. We're coming up the curve. I gotta tell you, when you look at foiling, that's probably, would you say it's the ultimate?
Yeah, it's like heli skiing or cat skiing.
Yeah,
It's an unreal experience to tow into waves.
Yeah, it's fantastic. There's a couple things that we think you should think about before you get into the water for the first time in a tow-in situation. I know a lot of folks have learned how to foil in your wake foilers and may or may not have much ocean experience. I think it's a good idea to gather some ocean experience before you get in the water for the first time. And so if you haven't paddled a surfboard out, go ahead and paddle a surfboard out. Know how to duck dive, know how to dive beneath a wave.
Yeah, I think so. If you're coming from wake foiling and you're a good foiler, you can get up, you can ride the boat wake, you can pump around. That's good. There are people, Maui True North, shout out to Brett.
Yeah, Brett
is one of them.
Job.
And you know, if you want to try it or learn about it, you can learn about it real time if you come out to Maui. So he's somebody that will take people out towing, and he'll take you out in conditions that are doable. Yes, that's the main thing with towing, is you want to be very cautious and you want to be in conditions that you're capable of handling.
Yeah, suitable for your skills. And we have some other people on Oahu as well that can provide towing. Before you show up and you get there and you're practicing on wake foil, there's a couple things you want to be able to do. And that is, if you're behind a boat, go ahead and have that driver do a couple high-speed spins to slingshot you, just so you get used to increased amount of speed and also variable conditions. I'd say another thing too is a lot of times we look for beautiful water conditions to go out on the water. So it's lake, it's flat. Well, guess what? The ocean's not flat, so go out on those rough days. Even if there's wind that's going to be hitting you and other boat wakes, learn how to manage your height on those varying sizes so that you feel good and comfortable.
Yeah, 100%. Typically, you're going to get some wind. It might be glassy for a while. It's rare that it's perfectly glassy. So especially, you know, towing up in conditions where it's choppy, things like that, it's all good.
Yeah, and so you can look at one of our other videos in terms of getting up that we recently put out, and it has the deep water start as well as the more traditional toes up start. And, you know, either one of those will work. It's good if you can do either, you know, and practice when you go down and you're with a buddy and you're in a safe environment like a lake or wherever you may be. Do some fast get-ups, you know, where you're not necessarily waiting, give me tension, getting it all perfect. You know, do it with a little bit of urgency, a little bit of speed. It'll pay off a lot. You know, we were out there unguided, just doing it, but we've also done a bunch of towing. And so with jet skis around the Seattle area and the Puget Sound, where you learn the different angles to be able to drop off. For most of you, you won't have to drive the ski, so it's not a problem. If you do, make sure you take that responsibility as a driver of the ski really seriously. Do the necessary training so you understand what it is. And then also spend time dropping people into waves in your local waters, and you'll understand a lot.
Good way to do it is if you have a lake that's big enough and there's other boats or friends that are driving the boat, if you have a ski, you can tow people into those wake waves. But it's really good to learn how to manage the angle of the drop and the speed and all that.
Yeah, and I'd say, you know, coming back to John's point, getting into waves that are suitable for you. I know all of us get these big saucer eyes and want to have that picture like Surfer Magazine where the waves hanging over our head. If it's your first day in the ocean, start small and kind of graduate and grow up into it. If we talk about gear for a second, you know, there's a couple things. One, when you're towing in, typically you're going to use a little bit longer mast. So behind the boat, if we're on a lake or something like that, 72 centimeters is great. We've recently been riding a 795 behind the boat as well, which we really enjoy. When you get into tow, we towed these 4 days with the 795. We were riding Armstrong, so we had the performance mast. For bigger conditions, we'll probably go up to the 835. Just for reference, for wing foilers out there, we wing on a 935. So 900 to 935, great for winging. 70 to 70, 980, great for prone as well as behind the boat and tow-in if it's not too choppy. And then more choppy towing, you're going to go a little bit over 80 centimeters.
Yeah, the longer mast makes a big difference, especially if the waves are somewhat sizable. You just have a lot more going on in the wave, and being able to not breach is a good thing.
Yeah, don't be afraid to wear a helmet. You know, if you're just starting, you're going to be a kook anyways. Might as well protect the dome. Get a cool one or don't, but you'll be perfectly fine if you wear a helmet. and have a good time with it. I'd say one other thing too that you can think about is impact vest. If it's an external impact vest that goes over your wetsuit, it can, in bigger waves, slide up over your head and potentially straight jacket you a little bit. So we see riders who are going into big waves have padded suits. You don't necessarily have to have that, just something to think about.
Yeah, it helps. Extra flotation helps, extra rubber protection. I wear like a short wetsuit, and then that impact vest is underneath, just because like you say, when you get blown up, you don't want to be caught in it.
I'd say the other thing too that we think about a decent amount. This came up with a video that we did with Zane Schweitzer, who's a local here. You can see what his experience is towing into Jaws. We're not towing into Jaws, but you want to make sure that you have a team, and that team knows what the plan is. Each day when we went out there, we picked our landmarks in terms of where we were going to play between. We set what our stripes were going to be in terms of where we're going to go to catch the waves, and we also talked about what our approach was going to be to drop people off, whether it's going to be a left or a right hand side. And those drop offs are a little bit different if you're goofy foot or if you're regular foot.
Have a plan.
Yeah, have a plan. Make sure people know where you are. Look at all the regulations and have your communication devices. It's always a good idea. Most importantly, get out there and have a great time. So if you're over here, True North is fantastic. Wahoo, just drop us a note. We'll get you set up. Foiling. There are so many different disciplines and ways that you can enjoy foiling. A tow-in is unbelievable. You have to do it. You'll love it. You'll enjoy it. We were on a HA 880 most of the time, Armstrong HA 880 with the Dart 140 tail. Whatever brand you use, just kind of plan that you're going to be going pretty fast. I think our typical wave speed when we're going down the waves is somewhere between 20 and 28 miles an hour. So you want a wing that stays with good stability at high speeds, allows you to carve and have a great time.
Get out and tow.
Get out and tow. See ya.